What does it take to bring a soul back to living in love and joy, to let go of the misery, to let go of all the pain, all the ideas of lack, living in fear? What does it take? Huh, a lot of pain. It takes a lot of pain, it takes a lot of being humiliated, beaten to the curb, until you are just so tired, so sick and tired. And I got to a stage where I just could hardly move anymore. There was so many memories, so it was like all jam-packed into this container. And I finally had to deal with it. Not saying I didn't go kicking and screaming. It was the breast cancer, it was accumulation of things, and to finally have me wake up to look inside at myself. So we and I always looked at other people because it was so painful to me for me to look inside. I distracted myself. How did I do this? Well, I was what they call a codependent. Everyone else has to be happy before I'm happy. But I took care of everyone else's needs because, and the payoff for me was, of being the martyr, playing this victim role, the payoff for me was I didn't have to look inside at myself. There's always a payoff for behavior. Sorry to tell you. So by concentrating on my mother, my father, my 5 children, and addiction gave me a good old spin of chasing after my 2 addicted children. That distracted me for years. And till it finally, after playing out all of that, finally, about 8 years ago, I was so tired. I'm like, what happened to me? Well, my soul was saying, enough, it's time for you to look inside and come home to yourself. It's like there was a soul yearning, there was a soul message, it's time to come home. And there was an inner knowing that I'd played it to the ultimate. It was time, no more distractions, no more. And distractions I use going buying clothes, have a glass of wine, go to party. In Hong Kong it was party, work, party, having children, having a couple of companies, partying, breakfast was even a party. Breakfast, lunch, cocktails, dinner, and then, having 5 children in between. And, it was very busy, so you can distract yourself really easily. But then the soul said, enough. It was clear as a bell. I remember waking up and I said, why do I feel like this? I'm exhausted. I think I was probably depressed as well. And it was like, I thought I was dying inside. I felt so devastated, and a feeling of, what has it all been for? What's it all about? What, and so from this deep longing, and I really said, please God, help me. I think it was a soul decision. I could either keep living the way I was living in fear of rejection, feeling unlovable, unworthy, and I'm a bad person, or take the bridge and take the road back to my source, back to my love and joy. And I think it was pretty clear, you either can die or you can go on this journey home without the physical body dying, and that would be actually a lot more beneficial to do before you die physically, because you'll have your life review and you're, oh god damn it, I could have completed this, oh no. The poor old soul has to go through another reincarnation and go through all the childhood, and so it's like, well, the choice was a no-brainer, really. I'm going to do it this lifetime. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so started my inner journey. The first time I looked inside deeply, and going into the pain, having the courage to look at the hurt, look at the stress, look at why my body was in fear, because I knew my body wasn't lying. I had breast cancer. It was telling me something. So it was telling me to stop that pattern of trying to live a life of perfection, because Scarlett O'Hara inside had made a decision. I will be rich, I won't be poor, I will feed my children. And to look inside and see what was going on. So it was time to face the fear, and so step by step I did that and spent a lot of time on my own, giving to myself, giving back to myself all the parts of myself that I've shoved aside, coming and loving my inner child who was crying out like she just didn't like me, didn't trust me one little bit, because I just shoved her in the cupboard like, stop whining, get on with it. And just that, well, I have to be strong, I have to feed my children, I have to be strong. So just carrying on and not giving yourself a break and time to go inside and see what you're hurting, instead of ignoring all the messages, really going inside and feeling the pain, reclaiming all the lost parts of myself which I'd left, in different parts of the world, different incidences that had happened, and I hadn't cleared up. There was a big emotional charge on them. And so it was time for inner spring cleaning. We clean our car, we clean our house, we clean our carpets. Do we clean our face and facials and face peels and that people have, and all the expensive makeup? When is the inner clearing that needs to be attended to? Go into the engine of the car, go into the stuff that's stuck in there that you would rather not see. And during this time it was really funny, because a car that we had been sitting there, it was as tired and as worn out as I was, and the squirrels had gone in and nested in there and were eating up, things in the engine. So my body felt a bit like this, like there were squirrels eating me up inside. But it's a process. So step by step you can go back to these, meditating, going back, and samoto, emotional release, and you can come in contact with your feelings and all the backlog of stuff that had built up. And it was like a dam bursting. There were so many experiences which were left unprocessed that it had reached the top of the dam and it was just about to burst like a pressure cooker, so you could like all the organs would just explode all at once and you die, or you look inside and release the built up tension and energy. So step by step, looking at each organ, looking at each experience, and so then it starts the path home, the path to loving and opening your heart. And once you make a commitment to that, I just says, I want to have the Christ energy, and anything obstructing that, please let it bubble up and let me look at it and release it. So I'd made a commitment to that because I wanted to merge and connect with the source, and we're all aspects of God. So I wanted to experience that God, the Christ energy, have a purity of heart. So anything blocking that, please let it bubble up, let me see it. And I was shocked at what there was there festering away, which I had no idea. It's amazing, isn't it? We carry on like little robots, not knowing what's inside. So it's like washing yourself from the inside out. And at one stage I did watch a lot of true movies and let myself cry